Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. Let's talk. So, the topic that I wanted to speak about today is a topic that is pretty taboo right now because of the women's liberation movement that is going on and the trans movement that is going on. So, this is a very sensitive topic, and I'm gonna go ahead and give a trigger warning because there's gonna be some things that I state that may be offensive, and I do not apologize for my views, but I apologize if you get offended by my views. So, with that being said, let's go. All right. So, transgenders in sports. We're seeing now where they're allowing transgender males to enter female sports, and they're going in and they're dominating in female sports. But is that fair? I don't think it's fair at all. And I think that this new precedent is causing a lot of issues in our country in different areas. Now, for one thing that I want to speak on is the hypocrisy in it, because for all of these years, women have never been allowed to be in men's sports. They've always had their own separate league for women because there is an anatomical difference in men and women, and there is a physical superiority that most men hold over women, and that's why there is a separation. And so females got their own sporting leagues. But now you have it to where males are being allowed to be in the female sporting leagues, and they go in and they dominate in those leagues because they are physically superior. So how is it for all of these years you denied women the right to be in the male sporting leagues, but now you're letting men who think they're women join the women's sporting leagues and just rack up all the accolades and achievements over there? I think that is very tasteless. I think that is very unfair, and I think it needs to be addressed on a bigger scale. Um, why don't you just make a trans league? This is my solution for the whole issue. Everybody's making it so much more complicated than it needs to be when it's very simple. You make a league for trans people so that they can have equal competition. It's not fair that these women have worked hard all of their lives, and they've done so much to get themselves to the point where they are, and then they just come and get blown out of the water by a male who thinks he's a woman or who identifies as a woman. That's very unfair. And then if we go back to the Olympic trials from the previous Olympics, you remember that there were women from certain parts of Africa who were disqualified from certain events because they had higher testosterone levels than the other women, for the simple fact of the region that they came from. It caused their bodies to produce more testosterone. And so, with this being the issue, they disqualified those African ladies from competing in the Olympics. But now you turn around and we have a male who's going into female sports and just totally dominating. This is very hypocritical, and women should be very pissed off about this. I know if I was a female, I would be very pissed off about this because women have been fighting for their rights for how long? It's just like black people. It's just like the whole situation with the whole hate crime thing. We're just now getting a lynching bill from a president in the United States, and it's 2022. We had about a month or two instances of Asian people being attacked, and right away they made a bill to protect the Asians. So it's like, um, on one hand, You got people who have been fighting for something for all of these years, and it's a slap in the face to them for somebody else who have not been in the struggle as long, for somebody who has not put in as much work to just come along and get all of the things that the other group was fighting for. This is so much of a slap in the face, and this is the reason why people don't want to let up on these politicians right now. This is the reason why there's no longer any trust within the government and the people, because we see that there's cherry picking, there's favoritism, and there's not justice done all the way across the board in any type of way, shape, or form in the United States of America. Everything is off balance. The scales of justice have always been off balance. And, it's just a sad situation that we see ourselves in. But getting back to what I'm talking about, all right, we have so many different reasons why we wouldn't want to allow other people in our league. Well, you don't generate enough money. Well, you don't do this, and your league doesn't do that. Well, how about we make it to where those leagues do? If they have enough, that's like the WNBA. They have enough women in this world to support the WNBA. There's many women out here who make a lot of money, who can really help out the WNBA if they saw the need to. Um, but where does a lot of the donations come from, and where does a lot of the support come from, or where's a lot of the support asked from? It's asked from the men, and a lot of the NBA players are starting to support the WNBA and to support women's boxing and things of that nature so that it can grow to the level that it needs to for them to get sufficient pay so that they can, have a good quality of life like male athletes do. But the truth of the fact of the matter is that males establish these sporting leagues, and of course they're going to be the first partakers of whatever fruits that are born from their labors. Man, it was hard to get that out, but yeah, so I want to enjoy the fruits of my labors. I want to work hard and know that at the end there's going to be some benefit to what I've done. And so if I work hard and to build up something and to get it to a certain level, I would feel a certain type of way if somebody else came in who didn't work as hard as I did, but expecting to get the same treatment and the same privileges that I would be afforded for the work that I've done. And my thing is this: they don't want their own league because that would mean that they would have to establish it from the beginning and they would have to build it up, but they don't want to build it up. They want to enter a league that's already established so that they can make money that other people who have worked their butt off to get to that point make. And the two primary genders are male and female genders. So they are going to be the highest paid genders in any area. Um, so until they make a transgender league for all different areas as baseball, football, basketball, boxing, uh, all of the Olympic events, whatever area of athleticism that there is, they should keep it women against women, men against men, and then have the transgender league for the transgender so that it would be fair. But allowing men who identify as women to enter into women's sports and to dominate these women, knowing that they have a physical advantage over them, that's not going to fly, because what are we going to say next year when it comes down to the Olympics? If I was those if I was those female runners from Africa, I would sue the Olympics for the travesty that they did against those females, to tell them that they had too much testosterone in their system, knowing that the region that they come from causes their body to have to produce more than people from other regions of the world, and they still disqualified these ladies. I have to question the intent behind this. I have to question the integrity of the Olympic Committee, and I have to test the integrity of anybody who's in support of the Olympics. um, we saw all throughout the Olympics all of the racial issues. We saw throughout the Olympics all of the women's issues. And so we see that when it comes to sports, there's still a whole lot of racism, there's still a whole lot of male chauvinism in it. And this has to be addressed and dealt with, because if not, then we're going to get away from the actual sports, because we're going to be dealing with the outside drama so much. And so I say once again, for this issue that we're starting to have with people who identify as something else trying to join a sporting league that is not of their original gender, I don't think that they should be allowed to do that. They should not be allowed to do that at all. That's unfair, and it takes away from the sport. It takes away from the achievement, and that's just what it is. So I'd like to know what official made the ruling that it would be okay for a male, anatomical male, to go into a female uh, sporting league to compete. We also have in MMA, we have transgenders in MMA. And if it's woman transferring over to a male, then we're going to have to question how much of a chance is she going to have against the average male. But then if it's male transferring to female, then it's going to be just the opposite. And so this is one of the, well, not one, but one of many issues that come up whenever we deal with um, rights for other groups. And so all of these, I've said it many times before, that everybody came in under the banner of civil rights, the Black movement. And so women's rights and all of that stuff like that comes under the banner that was originally started to get the rights, advocate for the rights of Black people. So Black people are still standing here asking for this and that, whenever you see other people coming in getting all of the things that you should have gotten hundreds of years ago. It creates another form of division amongst the people. It's going to create some resentment between the gay community and the Black community. And so if you're Black and you're gay, then you're going to be torn in this area. But these are the seeds that are being planted within the United States. And the more we go along and water these seeds, then we're going to see them grow into something that we are not prepared to handle. So as we think of these things and we ponder these things and we address these things on a regular basis, we can't be afraid to talk about what's right and what's wrong. We can't be afraid to call these things out, because if we do not call them out, then we're going to be enablers. And I always say that an enabler is just as bad as the person that they're enabling. But this is what we're doing. And it seems like every time we have a Democratic president in office, we always have this. And so it wasn't thought through at all, apparently, because now we're starting to see the consequences of these decisions that are being made concerning genders. And no matter who you are, no matter what you feel, what you believe, the world that we live in shows us that there's just two primary genders. You don't see genders in any other species other than humans, because we like to try to make up stuff and we try to do God's work, but we can't. We're not equipped to do it in any way, shape, or form. And that's why we always come out with these perverted ideas that ends up hurting us more than helping us. And so, as we go along and as we continue to try to live peaceably amongst everybody else, understand that living peaceably amongst you does not mean that I have to accept your lifestyle, nor do you have to accept my lifestyle. But what you do have to do is respect me as a person. You don't have to respect my lifestyle. You don't have to respect none of that. But me as a human being, basic human courtesy and basic human respect is all that is required. But most people can't even do that. So I tell you like this, I don't ask for respect. I demand respect. A lot of people out here, they want to be non-confrontational. They want to be everybody's friend, and they don't have the self-esteem to recognize that somebody is not giving them their due respect. And so when you find yourself in those situations, you have to address it at hand. If you do not address it at hand and you let it marinate, then you've allowed that opportunity to stand your ground to leave. So deal with it in real time and let people know that you're just not going to go for whatever, and they cannot force their views and their opinions or their lifestyle upon you. We don't hate anybody, but at the same time, we do hate that spirit that controls you and dictates your actions and what you say towards us. And that's all I have to say on that, man. This is your boy D-Mac. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.